Would like to mention just briefly is this furor over the gas tax holiday. It's to give just Americans, and particularly low-income ones who drive the furthest in the oldest automobiles, a little break this summer. There are some experts who view it as the end of Western civilization as we know it. I'd like to give people a little break. It isn't a lot of money, but there's a lot of Americans that could use a little break. And for us to somehow view that as catastrophic, of course, is it has aroused every special interest in America. Look, let's give them a little break. We know we need to have energy independence. We know we need to eliminate our dependence on foreign oil. We know we need to do all the things that I've been talking about: nuclear, solar, wind, tide, all those things. But just for the summer, why don't we give the American people a little break? I noticed with some interest that Senator Obama voted for a gas tax holiday back when it was only $1.50 a gallon. The point is, I still think we ought to give the American people a little bit of a break. And if you want to cancel the bridge to nowhere and the $2.3 billion in pork barrel projects that Senator Clinton has asked for, and all the other pork barrel projects that have contributed nothing to America's transportation system. Like the bridge in Minneapolis didn't collapse because there wasn't enough money. The bridge in Minneapolis collapsed because so much money was spent on wasteful, unnecessary pork barrel projects. And by the way, I voted against the energy bill because I saw it was laden with pork and special interest money. Senator Obama voted for it.
Senator, can I ask you about Iran?
Sure.
How would you respond to their insistence on enriching uranium?
I would respond to the Iranian issue of acquisition of nuclear weapons by recognizing the nature of the regime, by being deeply concerned about their continued stated commitment to wiping Israel off the map, to their continued export of explosives into Iraq that is responsible for the deaths of brave young Americans, their support for terrorist organizations such as Hezbollah and others, and Hamas. There's Iranian mischief being orchestrated throughout the Middle East, and I believe that we should not allow Iran to acquire nuclear weapons. But having said that, I am absolutely convinced that a league of democracies, countries working together, and I've already discussed this with President Sarkozy and with Prime Minister Brown, that we could enact meaningful economic, trade, diplomatic, and other sanctions which would have an opportunity, in fact, I think a strong chance of modifying Iranian behavior. And I would love to see us, because of Russia blocking the action in the United Nations Security Council, that we could get these countries together in a confederation, an organization that controls a lot of the world's economy and could have a significant effect on the Iranian behavior. The Iranians right now are having to do not have refining capacity, so they are having to import oil, even though they're gasoline, because they don't have the refining capacity of their own oil capabilities. There are major European institutions that are providing unlimited lines of credit to Iran. And so I think we could have a good opportunity to affect their behavior.
Senator, would you say a little bit more about what you just said about the bridge in Minneapolis? Do you really think that there would have been more funding for that particular bridge, other transportation projects?
I think that there would have been. Oh, I think there's a long list of earmarks which went to unnecessary and unwanted projects that I think should have gone to the bridge in Minneapolis. Should have gone. I don't know whether it would have gone or not, but if you're spending $233 million on a bridge in Alaska to an island with 50 people on it, then, and the list is long. We've chronicled them in my votes in opposition to various highway and transportation bills. They're well-known pork barrel projects that have in New Orleans. Tragically, there was money spent on projects in New Orleans itself that didn't contribute to the safety of New Orleans. There was a channel dug outside of New Orleans that assisted the hurricane in its path up to the destruction of the city of New Orleans. I mean, it's replete with examples of the lack of prioritization of projects to much needed priorities. I mean, it should surprise no one when we look at the list of projects that we are funding that have everything to do with the power and influence of an individual congressman or senator and has nothing to do with the actual transportation needs of the United States. There was money written, we all know now, $10 million written into law after the president signed it, apparently, to fund a project in a county in Florida, and the county supervisor said they didn't want it. Need I say more?
So you're in an area today where Senator Clinton did very well in the primary, Senator Obama not so well. It's blue-collar workers, Democrats who sometimes in November go over and vote for the Republicans. So you're obviously here trying to reach out to them with your health care plan and other proposals. In this state, the AFL-CIO is distributing a flyer saying John McCain is a patriot, but he is not a friend of